This latest protest is against Doge in the Capitol. And we didn't get what we all expected, at least what I expected, I'll say, which was one big mass protest after Trump's win. I thought that would happen. It's what happened the first time he won. We got the big women's march in D.C. that they claimed 1 million people showed up to. I don't think it was actually 1 million, but it was hundreds of thousands of people. We didn't get that. Instead, we're getting something distinctly more annoying, which is a never-ending series of small, pitiful little protests, one after another, unendingly. And at this one, a masked federal worker, or hopefully former federal worker, showed up to talk about how frightened she was to receive an email asking her what she did last week. Watch this.
When you wake up or when you're on your weekend and you get the fork in the road message, or you get the subsequent 5 bullets, hey, what the hell did you do, you lazy federal worker, this week? How frightening is it that someone on X, the owner of X, speaks to you directly to say, what did you do last week at work? And if you don't answer, I am going to fire you. But even more egregious, the president comes out, the most powerful person in the land, and endorses that message. How do you think that makes federal workers feel?
Yesterday I talked about the lack of self-awareness of these people and how much I envy it, frankly. And here we have yet another example, no self-awareness. And as an extension of having no self-awareness, they also have no awareness of how other people think. Right? This is the thing that's really hampering the left right now. It's not so much their lack of self-awareness, it's their lack of other awareness. It's their lack of understanding of how other people think and feel. They can't get in our heads at all. They just don't understand it, which means they can't persuade us. In order to persuade someone, you have to be able to understand how they think. If you don't understand how they think and they're a total mystery to you, you're not going to be able to persuade them. In fact, you can't even effectively demean or attack somebody in an effective way if you don't understand how they think. You can't even hurt their feelings. Forget about persuading them. You can't hurt someone's feelings if you don't understand how they think. It requires some basic understanding of how your opposition thinks, which they don't have. So if I'm a federal worker and I really want to mobilize people against Doge and against all the cuts to government, and I want to gain sympathy and support from the public, which if you're one of these federal workers or ex-federal workers showing up at a protest, you would think that that's what you want to do. That's why you're having a protest. So if I'm in that spot, here's what I would do. And it's not that I want to give these people any hints, but they're not paying attention to what I'm saying anyway, so it's fine. So here's what I would do. I would get up there and I would say, I got that email from Elon and I was happy he sent it. I sent back 15 things that I did last week. My only complaint is that he didn't ask us to give more things. I wanted to give a longer list. I want him to send more emails and ask for longer lists because government is a thankless job. I'm slaving away at all hours, working hard at my desk job from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. These are unbelievably hard hours. No one works like me in the federal government, and no one ever thanks me. It's a thankless job. I relish the opportunity to tell someone what I've done. It's about time they ask. You know what? I got that email and I thought, thank God, it's about time someone asks me what I'm doing all the time. I hope you sit down for a minute. I hope you have 2 hours. I'll tell you all the things I did last week. I would say something like that because I would recognize that even if it's not actually true of federal workers, if you're trying to persuade someone, that's how you would frame it. Because I would recognize that first of all, if I want people to be against cuts to federal jobs, I need to persuade people that federal workers are doing a lot every day. And for another, I would also recognize that the public is not going to sympathize with me if I cry about having to answer a simple email. So I would not cry about it. If I wanted to cry about it, I would go home and I would cry in the privacy of my own home. I would cry into my pillow at night about the mean, scary email that I received. I would not do it in public because the whole point is to mobilize and persuade the public. And I'm not going to do that by shouting, oh no, the email frightened me. That scary email. But these protesters don't realize any of this because they have no understanding of how other people's minds work. They don't understand. They don't understand their own minds or anyone else's. They're like automatons. They're like essentially AI, but not nearly as smart. They're AI with a fraction of the computing power is basically what we're dealing with. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.